Prime Minister spends comes out of the pockets of Canadians in Liberal taxes and inflation. He calls himself a great economist, but he's going to spend over 60% more than even Justin Trudeau did. The result has been higher taxes, higher prices, a higher cost of living, and an entire generation of young people who do not believe that they will ever do better than their parents. Canadians are cutting back, they're skipping meals, they're lining up at food banks in record numbers, while this Prime Minister maxes out the nation's credit card like it's someone else's problem. Their carbon tax, their fuel standard, the plastic ban make it more expensive to grow, move, and buy food.
Again, we see that member and indeed the entire Conservative Party pretend that there was a tax on food. Canadians are smarter than that. They know when they go to the grocery store that food is not taxed.
They aren't imaginary when you're staring at your own credit card bill. And it's only going to get worse because next year their bill will be $700 higher per family. That's another Liberal broken promise, another Liberal bait and switch by another Liberal Prime Minister. 6 months ago, the Prime Minister promised Canadians that he'd get the deficit under control, that he'd lower our debt and lower inflation. Instead, he's blown an $80 billion hole in the budget.
This budget is about building this great country.
He sent $8 million to Vietnam to create gender-just rice. What even is that? Canadians put their faith in the Prime Minister because they believed that he'd fight for them, for their jobs, for their paychecks, and for their families. But they were false promises, because months after he promised a deal, we still have no deal. Instead, we have the fastest shrinking G7 economy. We have 86,000 more people out of work, and now $1 trillion flowing out of Canada with tariffs that are higher, not lower. Once again, Canadians are finding out that this Prime Minister is all sizzle and no steak. It turns out that his big pipeline announcement won't actually build a pipeline. He's going to have a meeting to set up a plan and then sign a piece of paper that talks about maybe one day putting shovels in the ground. Prime Minister promised Canadians that he would build 500,000 homes a year, doubling housing starts. Instead, housing starts are down 16%, and his $13 billion brand new bureaucracy might someday maybe build a grand total of 4,000 homes. The public safety failures and the cost of housing, the cost of food, the cost of everything else are pushing Canadians out of their own communities after 10 years of their Liberal failure. Canadians are being told to lower their expectations, to accept this decay as the new normal. A country this rich and this capable should not feel this hopeless. We can restore safety, make homes attainable, reward work, and fix what families depend on instead of creating the dependence on Ottawa. What Canadians are living through should not and is not normal.